At the time, did you learn that your mother was involved in a new relationship with Mr. Prokopovitz?
Yes.
Previous to that, when you were young, were your parents married?
Yes, until I was 15.
Okay. And what's your date of birth?
5/25/72.
So it would have been 1987 approximately when your parents got divorced?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And at some point after your parents got divorced, did your mom get into a relationship with someone by the name of Marv?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your mom's date of birth?
May 5th, 1952.
In the relationship that your mom had with Marv, was that a long-standing relationship for some time?
Yes, until he passed away in November of 2012.
Now, through the years, and was Marv older than Kathy?
Quite a few years older, like 24 years older.
Okay. And then Marv passed away in November of 2012?
Correct.
After Marv passed away, were you spending more time with your mother as well in the beginning of 2013?
Yes.
Now, I'd like to direct your attention to the summer and fall of 2013. How did you learn that your mom was in a relationship with Jim?
I didn't learn about Jim per se until August, I guess, of 2013, but she reached out to me on June 28th. It was a Friday. We were camping. We were on our way to Menards to pick up a new refrigerator, and she left me a voicemail requesting me to call her back. And she sounded a bit frantic, so I was afraid something was going on, that something was wrong. When I called her, she told me a story about having gone to the casino the week before with some girlfriends on a Wednesday, and they had so much fun they wanted to go back the following weekend, and she was fine with that as long as they spent the night. And so when they went back the following weekend, she was sitting at a slot machine, and there was a guy sitting next to her, and he said, "Are you Kathy Friday?" After he kept kind of looking at her, he said, "Are you Kathy Friday?" And she said, "Yes." And she said that it was a gentleman who, she asked me if I remembered going to the Pulaski Rodeo when I was a kid, and I vaguely remembered that. And she said it was this gentleman that we had gone to the rodeo with, and that he still calls her every 3 to 5 years on her birthday, and that he had called her that birthday year, so that would have been May 5th, 2013. He had wanted to get together for dinner, but then it never came up, or they never got together for dinner, and then they happened to run into each other at the casino.
So let me stop you there. With respect to the name of the gentleman, did she give you a name?
She did not. She just said that we had gone to the rodeo with him in Pulaski.
Okay. And you indicated that you did vaguely recall something like that when you were young?
Yes.
Do you remember how old you were?
Maybe 10.
Okay. Okay. Now, at the time that she's telling you about this, and she also indicates that she was receiving phone calls from him every 2 to 3 years on her birthday?
Yeah, I think she said every 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years, okay. And you indicated her birthday was May 5th?
Correct.
Okay. So you said when she last indicated she had spoken to him on her birthday, that would have been the May 5th, 2013.
Correct.
Now, at the time that she's telling this, did you, what were your perceptions about your mom getting in a relationship? I mean, did you really, knowing just this much, did you really care about that, or what was your attitude?
Not at all. So it was just a strange conversation. She went into great detail, and I was trying to figure out where are we going with this. And then she said when she ran into him at the casino, he said that, he'd like to meet up with her. But she didn't know if she should, because what would people think with Marv having just died the November before? She's an old-fashioned person. Would it be proper? And so I told her, do what you want. You're an adult. You can certainly go out to dinner. What's the harm in that? And if it becomes more, it becomes more.
Sure. So initially, when she's starting to tell you about this, you are supportive with respect to she's an adult and you want your mom happy?
Yes, it was just, I was kind of surprised that she was asking my permission. I didn't think she needed my permission, or I didn't think that she needed to justify anything, so.
And that's based upon the information you're first hearing about the relationship?
Yes,
Did so you indicated that was a Friday, is that right?
correct.
So at some point then, did you have cause to talk to her a couple days later?
Yes, that Sunday, when I think we got home from camping, I had called her about the weather or something that happened over the weekend. And she just, like right in the middle of the conversation, blurted out that she had just gotten back from the casino, having spent the night there in Wittenberg with this man. It was so bizarre how she blurted it out. The conversation didn't really go any further. I think I probably just said, okay, and then continued to say what we were saying, and that was it.
So you first hear about him on that Friday. Now 2 days later, she's telling you she just had gone away the previous night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your mother, with respect to her, had she been employed as an adult?
Yes, she was a bank manager and a loan officer for many years. She lost her job maybe a couple years prior to that.
And did she do bookkeeping?
Yes, and she would do taxes on the side and that kind of thing.
So with respect to that and your knowledge of your mother, were you familiar with her spending habits around that time?
Yes,
And would you call her frugal?
yes,
Okay. Her going off and going to a hotel on that night, did that seem odd to you?
yes,
Did she have a house at that time?
yes,
Was it paid for?
yes.
Okay. So now you're hearing a little bit more on that Sunday. After you heard initially now about this relationship, did you hear much more about that in the days ensuing?
No,
Okay. Now, at some point, did you have cause to go to Georgia?
yes, mid-August of 2013, my son was in basic training, and it was family day weekend kind of thing. So my mom and I she was going with me down to visit him.
So again, this is still now 2013, right?
Correct.
From the first time you started hearing about this to now this date in August, is this all still kind of happening close in time in August of 2013?
I'm not understanding the question.
When was the basic training?
It was for the National Guard basic training.
What month was that in?
That was, it was the family day, so my son had left,
Oh, okay.
like maybe in May. I don't remember exactly when. So we couldn't have any contact with him until the family day in August.
And so then that's why your mom went with you?
Yep.
And did you fly there?
Yes, we drove to Milwaukee and flew from there.
And did you stay in a hotel with your mom?
Yes.
Was there anything unusual that happened when you had taken this trip?
The entire trip was unusual and frustrating. She was on her phone literally nonstop. We were taking my son, and a few of his friends who didn't have any family members come down to museums and do some sightseeing. And it happened even at the airport. You know, as we're waiting for a flight, she'd disappear or she'd be around the corner and I'd see her talking on her phone. When we were down in Georgia, we'd be going through a museum, we'd all get through the end and she was nowhere to be found, so we had to find her and she was on her phone. Her and I shared a room and I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and she was under the covers, you know, in her bed, whispering on the phone.
And with respect to all of these things that you were observing in the behavior of your mom, was that frustrating to you?
It was very frustrating. I didn't know exactly what was going on. It was very not normal. I mean, you know, the previous 2 years were probably the closest her and I had been. You know, April 9th of 2013, I took her shopping and to dinner because it was the anniversary, or it was Marv's birthday, and I knew that that would be a hard day, the first birthday after his death. And, you know, especially since he was no longer around, if her and I did do anything, he would always be the one calling her, you know? Mm-hmm. So since his passing, this was just completely bizarre.
At some point when you overhear some of these conversations, do you hear something about a baby dolphin?
Yes, I don't remember which zoo it was, but apparently there was a baby dolphin being born, and she's talking on the phone, talking about this baby dolphin being born. And when she hangs up the phone, I don't know if I asked her who she was talking to, I'm guessing I did, and she told me she was talking to my brother. And anyone who would know my brother would know that he wouldn't care about baby dolphins or follow the news. So I just felt that that was very bizarre.
Now, at some point, as you're spending time with your mother, does she identify who the person is, who the male party is that she has been hanging out with?
Not until I confront her during our second trip to Georgia for my son's graduation day in September of 2013.
Okay. So now you're on another trip with your mom, and this is projected to be family time. And at the time, do you see her on the phone again a lot?
So this one was different. After the first trip, I had asked my brother if my mom was dating somebody.
And that's your brother, Jason?
Correct.
At that time, was Jason living?
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but you will not miss a moment of testimony. We have this wonderful machine called a dream catcher, which allows us to stop it and pick it right up when we get back. So stay with us here on Court TV. We'll get you right back into the court.